right, everybody, it's your boy Xage here. Welcome back. This is the first ep of season 2. Warming up with the two favorite guests of last season. We got Mitchell Alcozer.
Woo!
And we got Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, my woo was a bit much now that I...
Yeah, should we cut it?
Yeah, do you want to run it back?
Yeah, okay.
We're making cuts in the first 10 seconds.
No, this is definitely it's just one take. How does it feel to be back with season 2?
I'm low-key a little nervy about it because I feel like there is no motivator to continue doing it except myself. I definitely found a swing the last time I was doing it, or a flow, or whatever you want to call it.
Why'd you want to do it again?
I created a 10-minute little intro thing that I put out that'll be packaged up with everything else to be welcome back and everything, and I kind of talk about it in there. But for the most part, it's to bring some positivity back into my life. And this is probably just a not great mindset to have, but I find that sometimes when we just be kicking it with the homies, I almost feel guilty about it because I'm not doing anything. I love socializing and kicking it with the friends. It makes me feel great, but I also have so much more to do in life, and I hope that my productivity time will be more valuable to my being rich than just kicking it, getting high with the homies.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said though that you do need to have a kickback time when you're not working all the time. For me, I honestly want to work a lot. I always enjoy working, but if I'm not ever relaxing, I'm just fried. So I don't think you need to demonize yourself too much. When I say fried, I mean mentally. I'm not.
I was gonna say, please clarify that. I was gonna say,
I'm actually sober, guys. Maybe last time on the podcast 2 years ago, I was still getting high, but not anymore.
You probably don't want to sit like that too. I was just thinking.
Sure, yeah.
You laid out.
Also, guys, last time since the podcast, we all got fat.
Newsflash.
We did put on a lot of weight.
How'd we get
Let's
here?
go around the room and say how much you put on in the past 2 years.
In 2 years, so much, 40 pounds.
I know on average.
Not that bad.
Honestly, I probably put down 10, 15. I sit around 190, 195. But I went up 2 pant sizes.
I put on 20 pounds. I sat at 160 for so long, and then I quit the restaurant. Also update. Now I'm at a solid 180.
Yeah, I feel fat.
What if you just get fat and smoke weed on the podcast and use it as
I thought you were just going to say and give up on everything else.
No.
Because I considered that.
I mean,
I considered that already.
Or what if you audio diaries, but something like that?
Audio diaries?
Yeah, you on the road.
I've thought about Xage talks before. I talk to myself regularly anyway, so it wouldn't make a difference.
I never talk to myself.
I talk to myself so much. But
actually, that's a lie. I talk to myself when I'm coding. It helps a lot, but that's about it.
I think sometimes when I really need to just get through a situation, or as I've been quitting nicotine, that's where we're at right now.
I don't understand. What do y'all do? You comfort yourself?
I absorb all information and process information audibly. So it feels more gratifying to me, and I'm able to make interesting connections when I talk to myself versus when I just sit there and think about things. I also don't like silence.
Did you say you don't like science?
Silence.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a hot
Xavier
one.
confirmed anti-vaxxer 2023.
I'm trying to think of a good example of when I talk to myself. I talk to myself all the time.
I mean, sometimes when you're overthinking a situation or a problem or whatever, you're sitting there for an hour and you're just can't stop thinking about it, and then you're just I'm upset about this and I want this to happen.
Oh, I don't have conversations with myself, but...
No, I'm saying conversations. I'm saying mulling a situation.
Yes. I also don't be driving down the road, talking through my emotions and shit like that either. It's more I laugh at myself, and if there's no audience, I'll just be the audience, if that makes any sense.
The only thing I do audibly out loud, I just think about shit I did that was super cringy, and I cringe about it. I actually I'll be
No, I mean, yeah, I do that too. I do a lot of onomatopoeias. When I hear sounds in the background, I'll just make them. Yeah, I'll just be
Yeah. I feel the comedy thing one is pretty good though too. As far as some shit happens or calling it out, not even laughing, but being I'm the only one that saw that one. Some shit like that.
I wish I could give you a good example, but I know I do be talking to myself a lot. I think it's a sign of intelligence.
What?
That's what I think.
You just can't comprehend stuff inside your head, so you gotta say
You're not an NPC. Yeah, you are an NPC.
Probably count on your fingers too.
That's actually just your fucking program.
I'm actually disgusted by these people that say they don't have an inner monologue. If you at home don't have an inner monologue, I'm sorry, but you were in the last stage of evolution. We're in the new age, baby. We can think inside our head.
I hope I didn't leave Marielle on red. You just reminded me that I was
I messaged her about it.
Okay, nice.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of people, we were talking about this with Gabby. I'm on the side of the studies that say, I think it's 10% or something that can't fucking picture things in their head. But I also do agree with the idea that a lot of people just don't know how to verbalize this very abstract idea of hearing stuff inside your head. Like you don't really hear it. It's like a very strange thing, you know? If you're really hearing things, that's a hallucination. But you're like, you can still hear a song in your head. Yeah, it's very hard to describe. And I don't think a lot of people can describe it well.
Do we really think there's that many people walking around that can't
10%. Why? No,
form
like when
images
because
in
Gabby
their
came in
head?
with like there's an actual like disorder and people have been diagnosed and it's like 10% of the population.
But like, try to describe that to me. Like, how
I'd be more like convinced that some people can't picture stuff inside their head than you can't hear things inside your head. I don't even understand how you read without being able to hear it in your head.
Well, that's the thing.
they don't read.
Yeah, they do though. Like according to these people, they're normal people and they can function normally. But I could not even comprehend how you would do that. Apparently they can. But like not being able to picture things inside your head, I feel like that's not as necessary. Like I could imagine how you can think about things without a picture of it.
I think
you
when
know?
we were talking about the picture one though, I think Marcus was describing it like imagine like just frames, you know, it's just like something animated.
Yeah, I don't have a
like,
4K screen in my head, but I can like, you know, it's like a fuzzy kind of image. But
Sometimes feel like I have a 4K screen in my head. I can picture it perfectly.
I mean, it might just be based off of other images I've seen in real life.
Is
sure.
it arrogant of me to think that I have a vivid and overactive
Yes.
imagination?
Yes. Look at your AI art history. Go to midjourney.com/
Mitchell. Good thing that the AI robot stopped me from making adult content because I would have, and then I would have been exposed, and I probably wouldn't be able to be friends with anybody anymore.
what the fuck were you about to make? Like we couldn't be friends.
Xavier
with
said,
you?
"Let me
Is that
bite the
bad?
bullet right now. I was gonna make anime porn of my friends on AI art."
Xavier type.
Show me a picture of Wyatt sucking Mitch's cock.
It's like they be playing too much Minecraft. It can't just be Minecraft.
No, I'm exaggerating.
I mean, you still can on Stable Diffusion, but Stable Diffusion's a little shitty.
I think I probably have to stop paying for the AI art. I'm not utilizing it in any way.
I'm gonna be paying for it until I finish up my projects, but
I probably should disable my subscription.
It's just so nice. I like being able to just create art off the top of my head. It's fun.
You're not creating art. You're stealing art.
No, I'm not.
You're not
stealing
creating
it.
art. You're stealing art.
I love how
You're
passionate
not
Wyatt is
creating art. You're
about
stealing
this.
art.
it's the dumbest fucking argument.
He like almost screamed at Marcus virtually too. Yo, Marcus was over here reprimanding me.
Yeah, he was
so hard. Oh, you heard it?
Oh, you want to talk about the thing from yesterday?
No, but he was here in person. He said that online because he was here in person already addressing it with me. I really didn't know that I unsettled him so hard, but we were at that market, you remember, with everybody? And I made a comment. I guess like the error that I made, and I'm willing to admit it, is that I made this comment to Marcus of all people, which was like really silly in the first place because I know how passionate he is about like art and how anti-AI art he is.
Which is actually crazy because Marcus was the one that got us all on the AI art.
How?
But he was the one that signed up for it first. He let us use it.
Right. I made a comment about like, oh, I personally... I'm pussyfooting it. I kind of said I wouldn't be buying any art here because I can go make it all at home for my $10 a month on Midjourney, you know? And I actually like I feel that way. And I think there's a lot of context to that. Like for one, I've never been able to draw or create art in any capacity. Like I do in my adult life consider myself like a bit of a creative in a way, but certainly not in that format. I don't make art and I never have. And I can even say that I don't think I've ever really appreciated art growing up. When we go to art museums and shit, I never really vibe with that. I just don't really get it, right? So I'm in this market and people are charging so much money for art. I totally get it. Like I know the value of creating something, but I just was expressing to my homie, like, I don't get it, you know?
Personally, at this point in my life, would not spend money on this thing.
Sure, right? At the very least, I could say that. But anyway, so I didn't know that he felt some type of way about that. But then he showed up here after I haven't seen him in 2 weeks because I was just in Ecuador. And almost one of the first 5 things out of his mouth was like dead ass reprimanding me and saying what I had said in that position was offensive and people were looking at us crazy and all this stuff. And I was like, bro, I only said that to you. And I also think you misunderstood me. I guess he didn't totally misunderstand me, but he definitely like riled in it and got worked up about it. But I just thought it was really interesting because we have such a difference in opinion there, but I do still love Marcus and trust his opinion. I just was like, damn, this fool. And then yeah, yelled at me in the Discord chat too.
It's a weird situation. I don't know right now if I would use a Midjourney painting instead of someone else's painting. Like I still think they're, someone's original painting's pretty cool. Midjourney's really good and it's gonna get better though. I don't know how loud you actually said it. Market made it seem like it was audible and everyone around could hear it. If that is the case, it would be a bit cringy.
It wasn't that loud. There were also like 25 people there. It wasn't even like that.
Do you know if people turned? Because if at least one person turned, then you were too
I
loud. and you
wouldn't
were
have
cringe.
noticed something like that.
Think about the day. Think past your bias and wanting to defend yourself.
Step outside of your body for a second. No, I don't think it was like that, dude. I just was looking around. Marcus was standing right next to me, and I was like, yo, bro, like, I don't get it, you know?
I don't want to dwell on the AI topic too long, but I do get it. It sucks, especially if you're like an artist. I mean, I'm not even an artist, but I understand from a creative standpoint. It sucks the idea that like your creative passion is realistically it's going to get replaced by this robot. That sucks as a person, but unfortunately, it's going to be inevitable. And I think like we just need to more or less accept it at this point than rather try and yell at the technology. Because that's what I see online. I see a lot of like people just saying how stupid it is and stuff. And it's like, you can think it's stupid or not. It's coming.
I feel that way about a lot of creative jobs right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not art in general too. Coding, that shit's going to be on the fence very soon too. ChatGPT's crazy. Music, that's on the fence too.
You imagine where the money would go from a tech company if they didn't have to pay a human being to code that much. You
I
know
feel
what
like
I mean?
the salary they pay programmers is so small. That's what tech is so crazy. No, they pay good, but like the amount of money that tech makes is so absurd because they have no like their overhead cost is so low for the like multi-bajillion-dollar businesses they're running.
Yeah, that's true.
The one thing I just want to say about the AI, I would agree completely with Wyatt. I think at the end of the day, it's like just to say something stupid, it's like, okay, so you're going to be behind the curve then? At that point, it's like the jobs that we work in now, yes, some of them kind of existed like 10, 15 years ago, but like the idea that like the jobs that we're going to work in 20 years, 30 years don't exist. You know what I mean? Like the fact that jobs still haven't even been created.
I'd like to argue that an ideal world is a world where nobody has to work.
That's what I think too. I think we're so ingrained in us that like we need to work because we live in a resource-based society that there's scarcity and stuff like that. But in a society where none of us have to work, I mean, granted, it sucks that like the creative aspect is a little digital too. But if none of us have to work, we can just do whatever we want to do. And it's not like there's an issue of, well, how do we figure out money and stuff? Money is an old topic at that point. Like we don't even, it doesn't have to exist.
And
you
human
know?
art can still be created from music, from paintings, from whatever. Like regardless of if AI art exists. Here's my other thing though, is like back to your original point, Xavier, like I can just go home and make it on Midjourney. Sure. But also like I wouldn't blow a Midjourney photo up and print it. My point being, even if I was at that market, it would take a lot in me to purchase someone's art there because it has to like to get art or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't think there's anything to get. It's just like, does it resonate with you? Like at the end of the day, does it impact you? Does it make you feel something? Like whatever. Because I've gone to a good amount of art museums, not trying to be like I don't know art like that, but I know what art I like. And I know that a lot of modern art does not resonate with me. But then like Barbara Kruger, that shit resonated. That was some really cool stuff. And that was mostly just text on a screen presented in a colorful way. My thing is that like artists, some, not all, will still be able to make money. But the commodification and the commercialization and like everything about art will maybe disappear, sure. But at the end of the day, like what art exists for won't disappear.
People still will appreciate art, especially made by humans. Yeah, forever.
That's never going to go away.
Totally agree.
And that's also just a comment on like the music industry. There's too many artists. Not everyone needs to make music just because you can make music now. That's true. Not everyone needs to share their opinion on social media. You know what I mean? So it's like at the end of the day, if anything, the AI art will push out the commodification of all that bullshit, and then those people will filter out, and then the true talented people at the end of the day will filter to the top.
Would you listen to an album if you knew it was 100% just a computer generation and there's
I
no?
thought it was good, of course.
Of course, if I thought it was good.
Yeah, if I thought it was
If I
good.
thought it was good, what difference does it make? If I think it is good, if I enjoy it, you know, it's the same.
I think people pretend like they wouldn't. Pop music is already very
Right.
simplified, you know.
Bro, they take some an hour, 30 minutes to make a pop hit these days. Like it's all super
It's math and it's music.
computerized. Yeah. I just want to say on the art thing, I bought a man's stickers and I bought a sweater. Marcus didn't buy shit. Okay. So Marcus doesn't appreciate art and I truly appreciate art. So fuck you, Marcus. Hope you're listening.
So moving on to who he should have on episode 2 for possible guests, I'm going to say Marcus is a good first next guest.
Marcus will obviously be on. I still love talking
You
to
should
Marcus.
just argue with him for 2 hours.
About AI art.
You're like, yeah, well, Wyatt said this one time.
Marcus just gets really passionate about subjects, and sometimes they're not even worth his time. He just likes to argue, I feel like.
I like to argue too.
I feel like one thing that separates you from the rest, Wyatt, is that like you are usually, not always, but usually able to argue with zero emotional involvement. And I feel like most other people, even if they don't feel emotionally attached to the argument, which I swear is common amongst more arguments than not these days, but even if they're not emotionally attached to the argument itself, they become emotionally attached to like what they consider victory or weakness. And some people, like even our friends sometimes, will start like attacking you if you have a difference of opinion because they don't want to feel like beaten in this argument. And I hate that.
We were at not a Lunar New Year's event, but it was a dumpling party for like Lunar New Year's related, and it was Roy's birthday. But we were like the only white people there, so like it was kind of a joke. Like we were, like if we said something out of line, like oh you know, because I forget what. You said something about you didn't recognize the characters in the show. You thought they were the same character.
I did not say that. You said
said
that.
that.
You said
I was
that.
gonna say.
You said that. You said that.
But so-
What? What? Thank God you were here to agree with me right now. Because otherwise, why would have
Okay. But anyway, in that situation, they weren't obviously really mad at us. It was clearly joking.
maybe in that context, but I think also in general, recently it's like the second that an opinion comes out and there's not, I mean, obviously you should probably speak with full mindedness and what you think, but at the same time, it's a conversation, you're discussing whatever.
Some of our friends have been definitely like jumping down each other's throats and our throats more recently than usual.
They
but-
can't get at our throats because we're fat.
Wow. Did you guys ever have a debate class in school?
Were you in debate club?
Yeah, with Miss Seligman?
Yeah, I was there.
That was lit. And I learned a lot in that class about how you should really have a conversation with someone that you disagree with. Subjects are fed to you, right? So you're supposed to argue a subject even if you don't agree with it. You just get given the prompt. And I feel like it's really important to think about the way you're handling these conversations. Some of my best friends in the whole world, I feel like I lose like respect or I lose a closeness with them because I'm unable to have any kind of disagreement, you know? And I feel like that's such a shame because I think you shouldn't have best friends that you completely agree with all the time. That's how we end up in this, you know, echo chamber, a super topical word right now or whatever. But I feel like right now there's a lot of like lack of empathy in conversing and debating right now.
I wonder if it's very new though. I think people just have a hard time possibly being wrong. Even if they're not wrong, but you're arguing they're wrong. I think people identify too much with the thought of stuff. If they don't separate the thought from themselves, like, for example, if you believe in anything and someone says, I don't believe in that, you might take that as an attack on you, even though it's not. It's an attack on, it's not even an attack. It's just a disagreement with the idea. But if you identify too much with that idea, then it can feel like a personal attack. And I think people forget that a lot.
Do we think there's like a very high seeking of purpose more than usual right now, or do we think it's about the same as always?
Within Wyatt's point, I think about social media. I think about people that go on social media and value themselves based off of social media and follower counts, views and attention, etc. And those people, or even the people that don't have mass fame or virality, but that are like, you could insert greater stereotype number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm not going to point out anyone's because I'm not going to offend anyone because we're never going to get canceled over here.
I will.
Maybe. But like people on Twitter that are like super far left or super far right and will die for their political party, or like, I'm not going to come for any like gender identity or anything like that. But the idea,
It's all the same.
you know what I mean? Like people that will die on the hill of something that is not inherently unique to them. At the end of the day, like is something that is a mass thought or something that it is a community at the end of the day, you know, what are you as an individual within that?
I think a lot of people lose sight of that.
Yeah. Like they lose sight in a label within a community.
I was even going to mention this earlier. Well, why? What do you think? You were going to say something?
I was just gonna say when you were talking about purpose, I feel like I'm no longer seeking a purpose. I've given up on that.
You've given up on a lot of things recently.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like it's just like, well, fuck it, whatever. I'm here. Pretty much all like I do when I'm working, like I strive to be having some legacy. I want people to know like what I did, and hopefully that extends past the time I die. I felt like when I was in my early 20s, I was really trying to like find like a direct role to like fit into that I could identify as and be like, yeah, this is my purpose. Like this is what I'm doing. I don't really care what I'm doing now. I just want it to like, I just want to have some lasting impact, but that's about it.
I kind of go back and forth between the idea of creating something that has an impacting legacy versus if you like have a child or there's a younger generation or there's someone that learns from you or is underneath you in some way that looks up to you and then the life that you have, regardless of a product you made or whatever you did to like make money at the end of the day, if you can enrich them and put good values into their soul and their life and their understanding of the world, you know, like that's my inherent goal. The only reason I want to have kids is like, I know I'm a good person and I don't always make the best decisions, but I know I could raise an individual to make good
You
decisions.
think right now you could?
Yes.
Right now,
I don't think I could.
I feel like if I was forced to do it, I would do an okay job too.
I think I would do a better job than I would have a couple of years ago.
I don't know how I would juggle work though. Ideally, I would love to stay at home eventually, like, and not work. Imagine like you get to fucking hang out with the kid. Because my thought is like, as cliche as it is, and I know kids are a lot of work, but like the age at which you get to introduce your kids to video games, and not like an iPad way, like snotty boogers, but like being.
But I don't
like,
think at that age they're staying home that much.
they got school.
I feel like you really hit it off with your kid when they finally move out of the house. Most of the time.
I mean, that's the best time, right?
Most of the time.
Nah, I think I would fuck with a kid from like the ages about like 5, maybe 6 to about 10, 11. Then they suck for a long time and then they move out.
They suck, but I think also it's like if you can have, like, I don't know if there's a good dynamic. If
Bro,
there's a way,
I like honestly, I feel lucky for my parents. They had me as a kid. I was so chill as like a teenager. I know so many people that are absolute shitheads. Like if I had them as a kid, I would kill them.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's true. I sometimes, on a different scale, but the same idea, I think back to like, I'll bleep it because it'll be funnier this way. I think back to was telling this story when we were on like the Boston field trip that he like dead ass nutted in some other kid's shampoo because he was mad at him. And like, that's fucked up. Like
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't
Like,
imagine.
that's
I couldn't
really
imagine
fucked
being
up.
like that close to like finishing and being like, I'm glad I did this.
yeah,
I'm
he
glad
like
I did
low
this.
key bragged about it after.
Yo, I remember this, and this is like the worst shit I ever remember doing. It's not bad, but I'm like, why did I do this? We were in 7th grade at the New York field trip, and I forget who it was. I want to say it was Aaron Yost. He was in our room for some
Oh
reason.
yeah.
And he was
Forgot about
like,
Aaron.
I forget who. This was like at the time where you like barely can start nutting and like shit actually is coming out, you know?
You weren't shooting blanks no more.
And I was like, nah, bro, like for real, I can jerk off and like there will be some nut that comes out. And he was like, maybe it wasn't him, it was someone else in the room. I don't know who. And they're like, nah. And I was like, I swear I'll be right back. And I went, and there was like a shower cap. No, there was like a shower cap in the room. So I like furiously like was like, all right, I gotta prove this, and I jerked off into the shower cap.
God.
And then I brought it back upstairs. I was like, look, bro, I told you. And I swear, like motherfucker fell asleep. And I think about that a lot. I'm like, why did I do that?
I just remember being so thirsty on that trip. Hormones were like overtaking my entire body.
But it was like the first time we were like alone with.
Right.
Now the girls weren't in our room, but it was like the implication, like, well, maybe they could come over.
Right. Yes. I remember trying very, very hard to hang out with the girls,
Yeah.
but it was not happening. They had those hallways locked the fuck down. Like
Nah,
that,
they really did.
that shit was not happening. But I remember thinking a lot about it, like obsessing over
But the
it.
8th grade one was crazy too, because I don't know, not to, spill our own memories forever, but there was the dance there too. And I remember it being like,
I was not invited on this trip.
yeah, you were a troublemaker kid. I would have killed you if I was a parent. And
Not that bad.
but I remember there being a dance there. It was like very like, yo, like who you gonna try and dance with at the dance? Like, this the one, the chaperones aren't here.
The one time we almost actually got in trouble was Wyatt's fault anyway.
Yo, I was thinking about that today, actually.
That was Wyatt's fault anyway.
It wasn't really my fault. It was like mutually my fault.
We just did some dumb trespassing shit.
There was an abandoned elementary school that we like found a way into. And we went in there and like just broke a bunch of shit. We like threw a fire extinguisher through a window.
It was
and,
so
like,
fun.
It was pretty
I
cool at the
remember it
time.
well. It was lit.
But basically, I told my sister, I said, like in such a vague way, I was like, oh, there's a way into this building right now if you want to go, And she went with her friend. She's like 2 years younger. And her one friend got like super scared in there or something and like told her parents about it and then like got back to me. So we all got in trouble.
We almost got in trouble. Wyatt's mom bluffed and told him that like the police got involved. And so we were all like 14 tweaking because I thought it was really bad what we did. We literally like trespassed and destroyed hella property.
No, like if the police were involved, like we would have been.
It would have been really bad. And so I remember for like multiple days she let this go on. Wyatt's mom loves torturing him, but this went on for days.
It sounds like she played it right.
She did. She did the right mom thing. So anyway, we were just tweaking for days thinking that we were all going to get in like crazy trouble, and then nothing ever happened. But anyway, that was Wyatt's fault. So who was really the bad kid?
I think about that sometimes. You could have really just done anything in school. Like, it doesn't really matter.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we were talking about this the other day. Like, they always used to say, like, that will go on your permanent record. That's not a thing. We all just...
Doesn't your record get expunged when you turn 18 if it's not major enough?
Well, your actual criminal record gets expunged, yeah. But
I always thought the permanent record was your criminal record.
It's just a made-up thing. And it's like a thing we as a society, like, agree upon. Like, yeah, we'll just keep saying that. No one ever mentions, like, yeah, there's no such thing as a permanent record. I don't know. As a kid, like, you kind of believe that, you know?
Sidebar on kids in school and shit like that, not about getting in trouble. I actually saw on Reddit a teacher was talking about ChatGPT and this and that. And I saw that it was actually really interesting to me. And I sent it to a friend that's a teacher. And she thought it was actually interesting too. So I think it's a cool idea. Instead of getting all bugged out about kids writing essays that are just with ChatGPT, it's all in-class essays. So they have just like the hour or whatever to write. They write it. The next day, the teacher types them all up and then prints them all out and then is comparing the kids' essays with the ChatGPT essays, and then they have to determine which ones are which. And then like the third day is like sitting down with just the AI ones and being like, okay, rewrite this. And I thought that was pretty smart for like a junior high level or like an English, like a freshman year English.
I don't think they'll be able to tell pretty soon. I think like right now they might be able to tell.
You could tell if it's 7th graders because you would know that they don't write that well.
That's true. That's true.
But when you get to like high school, college.
I saw this discussion online and they brought up the point of turnitin.com. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
I remember spending so many hours trying to take plagiarized work and make it look unplagiarized.
You know how long it would have taken you to just write your own work?
No, this was better.
I actually hardly plagiarized.
I never plagiarized. Why?
Bro, I
It's so much harder to do that.
cheated.
It's so much harder to do that. Just
So
use your
much.
brain and think of your own thought.
No,
like
because
literally
it's smarter
think of your
to
no.
not work. I believe that.
You worked harder to do all
not
of that.
true.
You worked
Trust me.
harder. You just said you literally said, let me think about all of the hours I spent.
No, trust me. This was better and easier. Someone else brought this point up on a podcast I was listening to, and it reminded me of the truth. They were saying like how much time they spent trying to cheat in high school and get away with it. I swear I was not doing my work appropriately so much. I got into USC. And then I did great there too. I feel like the system has been broken for a long time. And like, if you haven't been taking advantage of it, you kind of sleep. I've been feeling that for a long time.
I'm like 50-50 on it because I'm all about fuck the system. I think it really sucks. If I was younger, I would have said, oh, but you should actually learn this knowledge. Like, it's important to know. The older I get, I think fuck that. Things that are important that you need to know, you'll learn when you need to know them.
I mean, don't get me
Totally
wrong.
agree.
At the end of the day, the 9-to-5 job I work, I was going to say this earlier to your point, and I forgot to say it, but I'll say it now. It's lethargic as hell. It's so stagnant. You sit there and you figure out, how can I do the least amount of work in the fastest amount of time and be done with it
It's
all?
a little different.
In the high school sense, honestly, I'm not going to lie. The idea of cheating is like, how can I just arrange this to be done and quick and done? At the end of the day, most people just want to forward something to someone else at work and don't do it or don't deal with it and put it onto someone else's plate. It's like kind of the same way where it's just like, how can I just be done with this?
In a system where, like, say college is super important to, like, your success in life, you should cheat then. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, genuinely, it's going to be much harder if you don't. If it's like, if I fail this, I will be poor for most of my life. Or if I pass this, I will, maybe you don't actually know it, but you'll at least have a good job. Get the good job, you know? Like, if it's a STEM major and you're building bridges, don't cheat. Please, I'm asking you not to. If you are a business communications major or whatever you're doing because you don't really want to be there, you can go ahead and cheat.
I've now had conversations separately with 3 different people. There's like something about you that is undescribable that just like appeals to women.
It can't be my smell because why didn't I have the same cologne?
I gotta be honest, that really bothers me.
I was going to buy it before, didn't have the bread
I bought
for
it a year before you.
and I don't know if you even wear it now.
Yes, I wear it. I wore it the other night, and I was like, I bet you we're gonna go there, and Mitchell's gonna smell exactly the same as me.
You only had the sample bottles?
What are you talking about? I have the full bottle. I probably have the bigger size than you do because you're broke.
So should I have asked you first before I asked for it as a gift? Is that what I should have done? Like I should have been like, did you use it all? Like,
Look, you know, it's a very niche cologne, and I only own 2 colognes. And I don't know. It just feels like you're impeding on my territory. I thought I found like, hey, this might be for me, you know. And then you come in.
well, who wears all the golf merch?
I was just gonna say the same
Fez, you know,
thing.
Fez said, you know, Fez
Of
introduced me to this.
course, you wear more golf merch.
So like, I feel like if anything, you think you found your scent. I know I bought my scent.
Boo.
Boo.
That was
What do you mean by that? I don't
trash.
even know
That
what
was
you mean.
that was pretty cringe. I will self-label.
The point I'm making is that I don't know what it is. I just think even when we went to the gym with Chris and Aislinn, I just felt like she felt really comfortable around you, even though I felt as though I was putting in more energy to be her friend than you were in that particular moment. I think it's just like some kind of confidence that you ooze and something like that.
I'm gay with my painted.
I was gonna make a
fingernails?
joke about your silly fingernails and your dumbass bandana and how fucking
Okay, well,
gay
the
you are,
bandana
but-
is literally because of the hair. That's literally like, well, what do you want me to have it in my face? You know, like I don't.
Yeah, let it
like,
hang, bro. Be a man. Aren't you a
It's
man?
not even that long.
If we were to turn this into like a conversation, I guess I would ask you like, have you been this way for a long time? Like, has this something that you've been actively trying to be, or do you think it's just like a Mitchell thing?
I think the actively trying to be thing is funny because I think I've just always been a mama's boy. Like I am close with my father, yes, but my mom is my best friend. I love my dad. Like he's a fucking dork, and I value him as a human being, and I love him. But I think there's certain parts where I butt heads with him. I think I've always butt heads with him. But my mom, I was always amicable with, and I think I had a lot of female teachers growing up. I feel like I was raised in a matriarchal household, 3 aunts. You know, like it was just always a female-centric
Wait,
space.
you grew up with 3 aunts?
Well, my mom, and her 2
Like in the
sisters.
same house?
No, but like my one aunt lived down the street. My other aunt lived like 20 minutes away. We were all very close. Like it was very just like these women made the decisions around us.
I'll be straight up with you, bro. I don't think that's it.
My point being is like I think I was always more comfortable with girls in grade school and like junior high, not in is he in the closet way? Like I'm very straight. I'm very into like my heterosexuality.
The
like,
women.
the male body can be attractive, sure, but I don't want
You're
dick.
homophobic?
No, I don't want dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just straight up. Like I don't want male attention.
You could get it if you wanted it. Mitchell.
But I don't want it. So that's, you know.
Typical golf apparel wear. He says the male body can be attractive.
Wyatt wears underwear in the sauna because he refuses
funny.
Wyatt literally refuses to take up. Why is this?
I ain't getting butt naked with a bunch of dudes.
Yo, I forget what the story was actually trying to roast you from the jump. I said Mitchell pulls out his wiener in the locker room,
Which I
near
do.
me.
I will fully get stripped down naked in the
Right,
locker room.
and I
at
was
the
just
gym.
teasing.
don't
I
care.
obviously don't care, but Wyatt took it to heart and was like,
What?
and they said like, what?
Bare naked?
And then we started
Your
talking about the
ass?
sauna, and Wyatt just did. Was it your first time in a sauna period, or your first time in a sauna out here?
Out here.
Okay, so Wyatt did like a sauna recently after rock climbing. I've been trying to get him to go for a while, but I guess he went when I wasn't there. But we were talking about how we went to the sauna too. And we were talking about maybe how small the towels were around us and they didn't fit and shit like that. And Wyatt goes, and you were naked under there? And I thought he was joking.
Yeah, they can see my nuts hang when they walk by the
obviously-
door because I spread eagle in front. Yeah, but you know, like it's the
Obviously,
locker room.
Everyone's naked under a towel.
But like, why?
But he was dead ass.
Do you want swamp ass in your underwear, like in the sauna? You know what I mean? Like, do you want to wear the same dirty ass underwear you
No,
just
you're gonna go
climbed
home
in?
and change anyway. You're fucking sweaty as fuck.
That's so
Yeah, but like, I feel like at the end of the day, if you're trying to like clear out your system, you want to sweat out through all your pores. Like, you're not gonna wear underwear.
Y'all are just some fucking freeloading.
But wait, why wear the towel if you're still wearing your underwear?
I ain't trying to sit in my underwear in front of a bunch of
Because you know you're in the wrong.
because I know I'm in the wrong.
Yeah. Wait, why would you not just wear your underwear at that point? What's the point of the towel?
No, I'm not trying to sit in my fucking underwear in front of a bunch of dudes either. It's both. What don't you understand about
You're
that?
covered. I mean, you're covered. It's it's not gonna get lost in the sheets over there.
Damn, that's so fucking funny. I forgot about that, Mitch. Yeah, he said, you're really naked under the towel?
Look, I'm all down for the sauna, but like, I ain't trying to get all naked.
I've
with
never
y'all.
skinny dipped. Have you ever skinny dipped?
No, and I don't want to.
No, I wouldn't even be comfortable with that because something might bite my wiener.
That's what
I mean, if you're in the ocean,
You think it looks like bait?
I wish we knew more about why women wanted to have sex with you.
Oh, the effect thing. I mean, I played some sports. I played baseball. I played flag football, but I didn't play like tackle football.
Are you about to say that you were like some super athlete hunk? Like, because I would not go on that point.
Well, the reason that it's even interesting, Mitchell, if you want to know the truth, is that you are the dorkiest out of all of us.
I have some of the most niche interests.
That's why it's like interesting, is that you are
I
hella
pulled the
dorky.
one secret rare Pikachu card out of the brand new last set of Pokemon cards for the Sword and Shield era, and I'm gassed.
And I've never done that.
You ain't ever done that. I've seen people open 400 packs in one sitting to try and do that. I did it on the first 5 packs I opened. I literally said, I really want to pull this card. And then the next pack I opened was that card.
I'm at a weird point where it's not like my self confidence is at 0, but I'm also like, I try and put myself in other people's shoes. And I would not ever want someone to approach me at the gym and try and talk to me and especially hit on me. For me, I don't even know how to approach someone because I wouldn't want to be approached. But I think I don't think that's a totally normal thought process.
Whenever I'm out in public, often this is like a problem that I have to evaluate and deal with myself, but I like to wear headphones. I'm not looking to have a conversation with anybody new right now. And I feel like most people at the gym especially are not either.
Yeah, like 90% of the time when I'm outside, I don't want anyone to talk to me. Like I don't want to have to interact with some person.
I walk away from every conversation that I have like 99% of the time. I feel great. Like I love just like the idea of meeting new people and hearing somebody's perspective on any situation is like just very interesting to me. But I definitely find myself like my go-to experience in life right now is like how to not talk to as many people as possible. Like I don't know if it's like maybe I'm torn from the media as well and like I just think people are stupid and I don't want to talk to people, especially here. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I live with Wyatt. Maybe Wyatt's rubbing off on me. Specifically, the airport as a great example. Like the moment I walk in that door, I very intentionally put my over-ear headphones on, and they don't come off until I'm like in the hotel of the place I'm landing at. I actually missed a flight for real for the first time very recently. That sucked. I knew I was doing it. Like I woke up an hour later than I wanted to. None of my shit was packed. I got driven to the airport and I like took a couple minutes to smoke this roach. Like I knew
Oh,
it was
you
happening.
head ass.
Yeah, I'm a dickhead. And
You smoked
it's
the
because I have
roach?
TSA pre-check, which by the way, everyone should get if you don't already have.
I still haven't done it. I
You
really need
should
to.
And if
Yeah.
you're not a terrorist.
Yeah, only if you're not a terrorist. And so I'm just spoiled. I get through security in 2 minutes. This time I went, my mom warned me. She said, "Hey, when you go through this one, they don't have TSA pre-check. You should go to a different one." But because I was already cutting it so short, I was like, "Nah, I'm going through the right one." And then they didn't have it. No speediness at all. And they stopped both of my bags. Took everything out of my bag. I just watched this man with my jaw hanging open like I'm missing my flight for sure. It was dreadful.
The only time I ever got my bag checked, I was bringing, it's called the machine, but it's got like a bunch of drum pads and like knobs on it and shit. And they were very certain that was a bomb. They asked me like, "What is this?" And then they like made me take it out and prove it was cool. That one they really didn't like.
Bro, I get stopped at the airport all of the time. All of the time.
I almost never get stopped.
Lotion, accidental water, razor blades on accident, lighters.
I feel like you be packing too much though. Like
Bro,
I don't pack
love
anything.
Packing.
You pack all the probably stuff you don't need.
I pack everything, but I don't pack heavy. I don't check bags ever.
Just so you don't think I just want to wrap up your point because I want to answer your question very truthfully because it is about me. I'm not trying to just divert it back. I just think it's been easier for me to talk to women than it has been to men in some regards.
You really feel that way?
I think that is the main point.
Why do you feel that way? I guess I should say like what about talking to men do you find harder?
I don't find it to be harder. I just find it easier to talk to women. I don't find it hard to talk to men. I think in high school more so though, when there was more cliches and stereotypes and people were playing sports and shit like that, sometimes I was just like, I have nothing to say that's relevant to you. Video games were a commonality and brought me together with a lot of people. But we were at points in time where it was like, you talk to the people you do the same things as. I think I was self-conscious.
Yeah, but none of those girls were doing that dorky shit like you.
I actually think I seek more validation from guys, honestly, at points like from my buddies and like trying to fit in with that cool crowd. I think that's where I sought validation.
So you have to like mold yourself a little more with the dudes.
Whereas with the women, I feel like I was just very much so like, I think I had pretty boy factor at that point, or like I knew I was cute to some girls. So I knew there was some level of just like attraction there.
when you say something like that, it makes it sound like you have an issue talking to men, but you definitely don't, right?
No. But sometimes I still get self-conscious like when it's just the boys or sometimes like
That's when I feel the most comfortable at this point in my life right now.
I feel like, I mean, when I talk, I'm clearly comfortable.
I think for me, I feel like I live a lifestyle that like is not marketable to women. Like I think I live a lifestyle that I can like joke about with dudes. It makes for funny content. But I think for like women, to me, it's like not a good lifestyle.
Why, when I talk about you to women, they're all impressed.
In like what way though?
No, not even a money thing. The naughty stuff I say after all the coding and stuff like that. I'm like, he is sitting at his desk, building his product, making his company. Like
You probably sell it too good.
Yeah, you must sell it better.
Yeah.
This is why I'm telling you guys I'm
It's
the
a
best
grind.
wingman.
You are just because women decide to come hang around you for some reason. I don't get why. You don't believe that you're sleeping.
They arrested the Italian mob boss from Sicily. He had been on the run for 30 years. He was arrested at a medical center because he had a $37,000 Rolex and they caught him with an alias with the same first name. They said, we think he'll talk tonight. I don't think the guy would probably ever talk.
No, of course not. I guess they just want info out of him because they hate crime or whatever.
I don't even think the mob really exists anywhere anymore.
You're tripping.
I mean, okay, and like
He was on the run for 25 years.
I think the mob exists in Russia, and I think the mob exists in like.
Bro, you're tripping.
Bro, you think the mob exists in New York? You think the fucking mob is
Yes.
running New York?
Not running
No,
New
bro.
York. There are definitely people doing crime on the low in a community that is basically a mafia. Like, you're tripping if you don't think that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but hear me out. Hear me out. The Italian mob back in the day, like, ran the city. Like, the trash companies were run by the mob. Like, our fucking boy, his dad was the manager for Fish. For them to go to Fish and have them play in Philly, the mob had to agree with him, and they had to pay the mob and stuff like that. I don't think that happens anymore.
I bet you there is some level of activity. I'm not saying they run New York. I'm sure there are some people, though, empowered in lineage and heritage to those people. I'm
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, there's always corruption. I just don't think the mob is what it used to be. When was the last time you heard about the mob? Like, legit.
When the boss got arrested a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the Italian mob, though, in Italy. I'm talking about, like, New York mob.
I don't know. I feel like they just
American
keep on the
mob.
low. Like, am I silly?
probably have people in their pockets that could be on the news.
Right,
I just
like,
don't.
yeah.
I don't think it's like a thing anymore.
Why? You're afraid of getting robbed every time you step onto the street.
Not by the mob.
Who are you scared of getting robbed by?
They're gonna rob me. They'll be like, "Yeah, we're in the mob." I'd be like, "No, you're not."
Who would they be, bro? Who would they be?
Anyone, just not mob members.
Anyone else? Oh shit! Mitchell was aghast by that conversation. Yo, Marcus.
No, because I said I wouldn't go to Compton. Like, why am I supposed to want to go hang out in Compton? It's like notoriously bad. This is what we were driving earlier. Because every time we fucking go to the rock climbing gym in downtown, it makes us drive through Skid Row. Which if you've never driven through it, if you've never driven through it, it is like a third world country. And there's no shame in saying that. It is crazy. Like the fact that this is happening in a modern city is absurd. And Mitchell, every time he gets out of work, he's got a scooter through it. Like there's goddamn barrels on fire and people like shooting up heroin, and Mitchell's scootering through there with his rock climbing shoes. And I forget what he said. He said like, yeah, not to be racist, but it is a little scary there. I was like, yeah, it's scary there. Like, this is not racist. That's very objective. No one wants to be in Skid Row.
Shit.
I don't even think that's its real name. They just call it that, but it says it on the map.
Oh shit! That
says
thing
it
is
on the
crazy. What does that mean that it's on the map?
I don't
It must
know,
have been
but
called that before, right?
There was no way someone settled there and was like, this is Skid Row. And it was like a blossoming city. It could have never
Like
been.
a skid is like shit on your fucking underwear.
I don't know what it is, but it sounds terrible.
Oh my god, I haven't laughed like that in so long.
So true. Damn, I didn't know you were scooting in there. Don't scoot there.
That's what I was like, you gotta find any other way there.
Literally.
I don't care if you gotta take a boat through the canals.
That's what it was like when it rained that one day.
The canals. Oh shit, the LA River. We just sewer. Like I don't
So,
get.
well, beach Skid Row.
Oh shit. All right, everybody. I don't even know how to. I'm just baked at this point. All right. Well, this was a great little catch up. Hopefully, it was entertaining for everybody. If you made it all the way through, you're a real one. Text our number.
This is American Idol.
Yep.
There's an open chat line.
Did you see that video where they were talking about how it was all a scam anyway?
American Idol.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, in
it's a
our music
reality TV
industry,
show, I
you know,
feel like.
music industry, when they told us how it was a scam.
They told us it was a scam. Well, it's obviously got to be a scam because it's TV. Well, Kitty, do you have anything you want to say to everybody before they go?
Yeah, this man fried. He trying to get the cat to talk.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening. Wyatt, Mitchell, any last words?
Buy my software. It's how I keep living. Don't get too attached to your ideas. You can be wrong. It's okay. I'm right.
And I'm fried.
He's fried.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I live here.
Thanks. Okay, bye.